Knowledge of activities to challenge and develop. There are two practice methods to challenge and develop performers. Firstly, massed practice, where there are no rest intervals and are performed in long duration. Although it's good practice, it can lead to boredom and fatigue and can be hard to perform with complex skills. Vice versa, we have the second, which is distributed practice, where there are rest intervals and is performed in short duration. These short sessions, which are spread over time, are good for beginners as it gives you time for mental and physical recovery. Knowledge of how to adapt challenge. The ability to adapt challenges as a sport coach is vital as it ensures players are engaged and entertained by the challenge during the entirety of the training session. There are multiple ways to adapt sports to develop the challenge and challenge athletes. So we have time. The coach must have good organisation and planning skills to enable maximal development and engagement from participants in the restricted timescale of a session. We have equipment. The coach can use a variety of equipment to further challenge participants at different skills and techniques. It can also be used to transition or shift the focus of the session, concentrating on different areas of development. For example, a participant practicing a serve in tennis, isolating the movement in a distributed practice method, would then transition by adding a net, making it more game-related and realistic as a net is present in a competitive match of tennis. Next we have pace. A change in the speed at which the drills or practices are performed can develop and challenge participants. A coach must keep this in mind. For example, adapting a passing drill in football to increase the speed of an individual's pass further challenges participants as they must think faster while maintaining accuracy of the pass. People. The coach must be aware of who is participating and adapting the session based on age, ability, physical disabilities, etc. Next we have intensity and duration. The length of the session and amount of energy or work the participants put in. The coach must be aware of the group or individual's ability to maintain a high intensity or a long duration. Finally, we have space. The coach can expand or reduce the area in which players perform in. For example, in a football drill, called a rondo, reducing the size of the playing field can increase the challenge for athletes. Vice versa, increasing the size of the playing field will decrease the challenge for players. This is because it gives more time for players to choose a pass and less pressure from opposing team members as the space is bigger. Knowledge of progression, which implements all three characteristics. It is important to set appropriate goals, including long and short term, to ensure progression of performers during participation. Program planning refers to the technique where, over a long period of time, progression can be mapped out and the coach can plan for a sequence of sessions instead of attempting to achieve specific goals for all performers in the space of one session. An example of progressive planning would be the use of a periodization. It consists of an annual plan divided into numerous phases which represent different sessions and phases of progression, which a team will transition through as the ability and skill of the team improve. These plans allow coaches to organise effectively and have a clear plan of action which they want to achieve. Knowledge of changing conditions. So first we have a definition. So we have contingency planning, which is being prepared for every eventuality within a session. When undertaking contingency planning, it's beneficial if you consider all possible things which will go wrong or not work as effectively as expected compared to the original plan. For example, the location and facilities upon arrival may not be the standard you expected for a football coach. This might affect what drills you decide to present in the session, as the grass is not adequate for specific drills like passing drills as it's too uneven. Do as much as possible to prevent these things from happening. For example, preparing the correct equipment in advance, checking the availability of the facilities and number of participants attending to ensure the session runs smoothly. Always have alternative plans and be ready to adapt or adjust the session if something goes wrong. Finally, we have changing weather conditions play a big role in how a session is run, so coaches must be able to adapt the session depending on weather conditions. When considering safety within session planning, there are multiple areas a coach must review for the health and safety of participants. So we have safety within sports, we have a list of 6 here. So body refers to the actual performer and ensuring a full warm-up and warm-down is completed to prevent injury. Rules. Most sports provide rules and regulations to protect participants and promote their safety while engaging in physical activity. Referees and umpires are provided to oversee protection of the athletes during competitive play. Equipment. All equipment must be safe and suitable for participants to use properly. For example, you wouldn't use gymnastics equipment as if it was damaged, as the participants are at risk of serious injury. This links to how many sports provide protection to participants to prevent injury. For example, shin pads in football prevent damage to the shin area during a game. Ability. This is to ensure competition is balanced. It is key to group individuals based on ability. There are multiple ways to identify the different groups, like age, skill level, gender, or weight. Kit. To avoid injury, it is important that appropriate clothing and footwear are worn. For example, in a cricket game, the batsman is wearing a helmet, protective guards on the legs and arms to protect them from the cricket ball when it comes in contact in those areas. Finally, surface. Before the sporting activity begins, the coach must evaluate the quality of the surface and environment. This can be done using a risk assessment and ensure the protection of the performers and safety for the activity. For example, a rugby coach is running an after-school rugby session for children and must assess the quality of the environment, looking for litter, broken glass, potholes, or other potential hazards. Also, it is important to check if the pitch has been affected by weather conditions such as rain, which can waterlog a pitch.